Good morning, everyone. Today, we're tackling business analyst requirement gathering. We've called this a survival guide because while it's often overlooked, it is the most critical phase of any project. As the tagline suggests, it's the manual nobody asked for but everyone desperately needs. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore real-world strategies to help you navigate stakeholder demands and ensure your project's success right from the very beginning. Let's look at the gap between theory and practice. On the left is the ideal expectation. Gather requirements, document them, and build. It sounds simple. However, the reality is often much messier. Instead of clear instructions, we're frequently faced with vague requests and high-pressure negotiations that feel more like mind reading. Acknowledging this chaos is crucial because bridging the gap between what is said and what is actually needed is where our real work happens. Our core mission is managing the chaos. The goal sounds simple: bridge business needs with technical solutions. However, the obstacle is that vague requests like make it intuitive aren't actionable requirements. The reality of this role is that you have to be more than just an analyst. You're part diplomat and part therapist, navigating the human side of technology to ensure that what we build actually solves the right problems for our use. Technique 1 is the interview. When you're seeking intelligence in a void, avoid the trap of asking, "What do you need?" This often leads to vague requests or irrelevant tangents. Instead, use the survival tactic of asking open-ended questions. Can you walk me through your current process? This approach helps you gather real-world context by admitting you need to understand their workflow before you can build an effective solution. Moving on to technique number 2, the workshop. We've all faced the dreaded button color war, where stakeholders have loud, conflicting opinions and progress stalls. Your role here isn't to pick a side, but to act as a neutral facilitator. Your survival tactic is to manage those dominant voices and steer the group toward a consensus. It can be a challenge, so stay focused on the goal, keep things moving, and definitely enjoy the free donuts. Next, we have technique 3, the survey. While it's often the lazy choice for reaching distant users, it comes with real hazards. You might target 200 people only to get a 12% response rate, or find you writing essays in your multiple choice fields. Your survival tactic here is to use Goldilocks questions. By keeping your questions not too broad and not too specific, you'll get cleaner data and much better engagement. Technique 4 is document analysis, often referred to as corporate archaeology. It's about digging through history to find the truth, but be warned, documents are frequently outdated. You might find a note pointing to an expert who hasn't worked here in years. Our survival tactic is simple: dig deep but verify everything. Never take a single document as absolute truth. Instead, assume contradictions are the norm and cross-reference your findings to get the full picture. Technique 5 is observation, or what I call the unfiltered reality. The trap is simply believing what users say they do. In practice, people often develop complex manual workarounds, like copying data between multiple spreadsheets instead of using intended features. By observing them directly, you uncover these hidden inefficiencies that interviews alone might miss. The key takeaway here is simple. To find the most effective solutions, you must trust what you see, not just what they say. Documentation is how we organize the chaos. We often start with vague user stories, like a user simply wanting to be happy. Our survival tactic is to translate these broad desires into specific, measurable acceptance criteria. This process creates mountains of documentation, including edge cases that may never even be triggered. However, writing everything down is essential. It provides a clear roadmap and ensures every requirement is defined, protecting the project's integrity, even if the details aren't always read. Our 7th technique is prototyping, often called the show, don't tell method. This helps us avoid the common trap where stakeholders say, "I'll know what I want when I see it." Instead of guessing, give them something tangible to criticize. Humans are naturally better at pointing to a screen and saying, "Not like that," than they are at describing a solution from scratch. Use prototypes to provoke that reaction and refine your direction quickly. Next is Technique 8, brainstorming, or the Wild West. A major hazard here is that someone always suggests blockchain, regardless of the problem. To survive, our tactic is to capture every idea, even the terrible ones, to eventually uncover the true gems. While you have to accept that this approach leads to more follow-up meetings, it's a necessary step to filter the noise and find the best possible solutions. Next, let's look at the toolkit strategy, based on Emre Yaiti's Business Analyst Mentor book. The key here is versatility. We mix individual interviews with collaborative workshops to get a complete view of requirements. Then we use prototyping to bring our documents to life and validate our findings. Finally, we must remain flexible and adapt our approach based on the team's energy or caffeine levels. It's all about choosing the right tool for the moment. And here we face the inevitable truth of any project, the late-stage change request. As you can see, nothing feels quite as heavy as being told a near-finished product now needs full offline functionality. It's a massive technical hurdle that often hits right when you think you're at the finish line. This slide humorously captures that moment of exhaustion when scope creep feels truly overwhelming, reminding us that requirements management is an ongoing battle. You are not alone in the challenges you face. Being a BA requires a great poker face and obsessive documentation to manage shifting expectations. When project scopes inevitably change, our ability to pivot is what keeps things moving. If you're feeling frustrated, just remember that somewhere else, another BA is struggling with the exact same ambiguity. We're all in this together, navigating the mystery of what stakeholders actually want. As we wrap up our discussion on requirements gathering, I'll leave you with this final thought. Success in any project often comes down to these three elements: having stakeholders who are available and engaged, keeping your scope clear and manageable, and ensuring your change requests remain minimal. Use these goals as your guiding light throughout the discovery phase. Now, it's time to go forth and gather the information you need